So we are continuing with chemical bonding. Our next topic is the difference between ionic and covalent bond. So we are in the chemical bonding. Question is difference between ionic and covalent bond. So first of all, first point of difference is their definitions. We know ionic bond, it is formed by transference of electron from the valence shell of one atom to the valence shell of another atom. The atom which loses electron acquires positive charge, while the atom which gains electron acquires negative charge. Due to opposite charges, these ions they are held together by electrostatic force of attraction. So that is ionic bond. So it is a force of attraction between oppositely charged ions. It is formed by mutual sharing of electron. Between two atoms. Second point, ionic bond is always polar. It may or may not be. It is non-directional in nature because orbitals are not involved. It is directional in nature because orbitals are involved here. Then fourth characteristic, ionic bond. This is, it holds oppositely charged ion. There is no multiplicity. But covalent bond, they can be multiple between two atoms. The bond is non-directional ionic bond, and this multiplicity is observed in case of the covalent bonds, but in case of ionic bond no multiplicity is observed. This bond is formed between metals and non-metals. This is formed between non-metals. Metals, they do not form the covalent bond. So these are the point of differences between these two. Now we come to the next question. What is dipole moment and what is its importance? So our next question of this lecture 5 is define dipole moment and give applications of dipole moment. As we know that covalent compounds, they have covalent bond. If they are formed between different atoms, then the more electronegative atom tends to pull the shared pair of electron towards its side, and it acquires negative charge during this process, while the electropositive atom it acquires the positive charge during this process. So we'll be saying that the polar molecules, when they have polarity, they acquire some magnetic character, that is called as dipole moment. So what is dipole moment? It is represented by mu, it is a vector quantity. So what is dipole moment? It is defined as the product of net positive or negative charge multiplied by the distance between two charge centers of the polar molecule. So mu dipole moment is equal to charge multiplied by the distance. This is dipole moment. Since charge is of the order of 4.8 10 raised to power minus 18 electrostatic unit, it is the charge carried by the electron which brings the charge in the polar molecule, and d, it is equal to the atomic size, that is 10 raised to power minus 8 centimeter. Substituting these values, we get mu is equal to 4.8 into 10 raised to power minus 10 electrostatic unit multiplied by 10 raised to power minus 8 centimeter. So this comes out to be 4.8 into 10 raised to power minus 18 ESU centimeter. Now this is taken to be equal to 1 divide, that is equal to 10 raised to power minus 18 ESU centimeter. So net polarity, net dipole moment, that will be on a polar molecule, this is net dipole moment. It is the minimum expected dipole moment on a polar molecule, and the value, this value can change with the change in nature of the electronegative atom. If it is oxygen, it is fluorine, or it is nitrogen, then this will also change. Then what are the applications of dipole moment? First application is it helps us to differentiate between polar and non-polar molecules. The polar unsymmetrical molecule, they have net dipole moment. For example, we have HCl, mu is equal to 1.03d. This is a polar vector quantity. It is represented by arrowhead pointing towards the electronegative atom and positive center towards electropositive atom. Then we have H2O. The dipole moment in case of the H2O, it is 1.48d, 1.84d. Then we have one ammonia molecule, 1.49d. It is having one lone pair of electron. Then we have HF, which has dipole moment maximum due to more electronegativity of fluorine, 1.91d. So these are polar unsymmetrical molecule. Then we have the non-polar, polar symmetrical molecules. Symmetrical molecules don't have the dipole moment because their dipoles mutually cancel each other. For example, we have CO2. Two vectors acting in opposite direction, their magnitudes are equal, mu is equal to 0. They are mutually cancel each other. Then we have PF3. This dipole moment, this will be cancelling the resultant dipole moment of these two fluorines. Their resultant will be in the center. So this cancels this dipole moment. Mu is again 0 here. So symmetrical polar molecules, they don't have dipole moment. This is also having dipole moment 0. So CO2, PF3, CCl4, all these molecules, they have 0 dipole moment because they are symmetrical molecule. We have methane also, that is also having mu equal to 0. So these are the two applications. It helps us to differentiate between polar and non-polar molecules. Polar molecules have net dipole moment. Second is it helps us to differentiate between polar symmetrical and unsymmetrical molecule. Polar symmetrical molecule Although they are polar, yet they don't have the dipole moment. That's why, since they cancel each other, and in the polar unsymmetrical molecule we have net dipole moment. Third application, it helps us to calculate the percentage ionic character. पोलर मॉलिक्यूल में कितने परसेंट आयनिक करेक्टर आ गया, दैट कैन बी कैलकुलेटेड. दिस इज हैविंग द फार्मूला म्यू ऑब्जर्व्ड मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 100 upon mu calculated. Now in case of the HCl, the observed dipole moment, it comes out to be 1.67 6.12. It comes out to be 6.12 observed dipole moment. In case of the HCl, it is 6.12 b. The calculated dipole moment, the calculated is 6.12 d. It is observed, which is recorded through experiment. So it will be having around about 16% ionic character. So on the basis of the observed dipole moment and calculated dipole moment, we can know the percentage ionic character. For 100% ionic character, dipole moment should be having the more value than 6.12. It must have the value of 4.8 10 raised to power minus 10 multiplied by 10 raised to power minus 8 centimeter. So in this case, percentage ionic character of HCl, that comes out to be around about 16%. So this is all about the dipole moment. Then we have the next. We have discussed up to now the bonds. We have discussed ionic bond. We have discussed covalent bond. Covalent bond can be formed by your overlapping concept, and it is formed by sharing of electron. That has been explained by Lewis concept. Now we will be explaining the coordinate bond. We have 6 bonds to be discussed in this chapter. We have discussed ionic bond, we have discussed covalent bond. Now we come to third bond, that is called as coordinate bond. So question number 3 is define and explain coordinate bond. Now what is coordinate bond? It is formed by mutual sharing of electrons, but shared pair of electron, it is contributed only by one atom. That atom is called as donor atom, the other atom is called as acceptor. This bond is represented by an arrow which is pointing from donor to acceptor. So coordinate bond formed by mutual sharing of electrons between two atoms, but shared pair is contributed only by one atom, called as donor. Other is called as acceptor. So this bond is represented by arrow pointing from donor to acceptor. Example, we have formation of ammonium ion. We know orbital picture of ammonia, it was having a lone pair of electron. When proton comes nearer to it, it overlaps with proton, forming a coordinate bond, and nitrogen acquire positive charge here. This is coordinate bond. Once this bond is formed, it is difficult to recognize, to differentiate it from the covalent bond. Both have the same appearance. Then we have formation of hydronium ion. Water, we know, is having two lone pair of electron, but at a time one lone pair will be contributed. So it will be forming hydronium ion by contributing one lone pair. this is the explanation of coordinate bond, how it is formed. Now we come to the next topic. What is resonance? What are resonating structures? And what is resonance energy? So we are having fourth question of this lecture, that is define resonance and resonance energy. Give its consequence. Now, what is resonance? Resonance is a phenomenon by which a molecule can exist into two or more structures. These structures have similar positions of their nuclei or their atoms, but the position of electron that is changing in these structures. Such structures, they are called as resonating structures, and phenomenon is called as resonance. So it is a sort of changing the forms. Suppose I can change my looks by changing my makeup, or by bringing some changes in my personality. Similarly, resonance, it is a phenomenon in which a molecule can exist in two or more structures. They are called as resonating or canonical structures. In these structures, the basic constitution remains same, the position of the nuclei or the atom, that does not change, but it is the electrons, the position of the electron, that changes in these structures. These structures are called as resonating structure, and through resonance the molecule acquire extra stability because it loses some energy during resonance. That energy is called as resonance energy, and this loss of this energy gives extra stability to the molecule. So now we see the resonance in few molecules. Resonance in ozone. This is first structure. Second is resonance in benzene. Benzene has the hexagonal carbon ring. The position of double bond changes here. These are the resonating structures of benzene molecule. Then we have resonance in carbonate ion. Two oxygens are negative, one oxygen is positively charged. Then these two are negatively charged. This is positively charged. Similarly, we have here the oxygen. This is negative charge, this is negative charge, this is double. So these are called as resonating structures, and the energy lost as a result of resonance, that is called as resonance energy. Resonance energy is also defined as the difference in the energies of the most stable canonical structure and the actual structure of the molecule. So this difference of energy is also called as resonance energy. And what are the conditions for resonating structures? All structures should possess similar positions of the atoms. They should have same number of unpaired electrons in all the structures. They should nearly have same energy, and negative charge should remain on the more electronegative atom, while positive charge, that should remain on the electropositive ion. So now what is resonance energy? It is the difference between the energy of most stable resonating structure and the resonance hybrid. Resonance hybrid is the mixture of all the structure, that is resonance hybrid, and out of these structure, which is the most stable structure, the difference of these two energies, that is called as resonance energy. In case of benzene molecule, resonance energy is 150 kilojoule per mole. Then we have another question, question number 5th of this lecture, that is called as why ammonia molecule is pyramidal, but water is distorted tetrahedral. Seeing their structure, we have in ammonia we have one lone pair of electron. So there is lone pair, bond pair repulsion. In case of water we have two lone pairs and two bond pairs. So in this case three types of repulsive forces are there. Lone pair, we have lone pair, bond pair. Again we have bond pair, lone pair. So these repulsive forces are more, therefore bond angle in this case decreases much. We have 104 degree 5 minute here. Here it is not decreased much, it is 107 degree 5 minutes. Now why ammonia is pyramidal but this molecule is distorted tetrahedral? The pyramidal character is due to the more repulsion between lone pair and bond pair. Lone pair is pushed apart by these bond pairs. That's why it acquires pyramidal geometry. Pyramid is having a square base and tapering tower. And similarly in this case, we have two lone pair which are repelling each other also. They are repelled by the bond pair also. So they are not pushed at the corner of the pyramid, but they remain tetrahedral, but tetrahedral is destroyed due to this repulsive force in this case. That's why the ammonia molecule, that is pyramidal, but water molecule has distorted tetrahedral shape. So this is all about this lecture. And next we'll be starting with a few more bonds, hydrogen bond, metallic bond, and then we have concept of hybridization. Thank you very much.